The lost flight, the mystery of Flight 19. On December 5, 1945, a routine training mission turned into one of the most enduring aviation mysteries in history when Flight 19, a squadron of 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers, vanished over the Bermuda Triangle during a navigation exercise. The flight, composed of 14 experienced airmen, was scheduled to fly a triangular route off the coast of Florida. However, what began as a standard drill quickly spiraled into chaos and confusion. As the aircraft departed from Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale, the pilots conducted their pre-flight checks and briefed on the mission parameters. Flight leader Lieutenant Charles Taylor, a seasoned pilot with a strong reputation, was at the helm. Early in the flight, everything seemed to go as planned, but as the aircraft turned northward, they encountered unexpected difficulties. Taylor's squadron began experiencing navigational issues as they flew over the vast and open Atlantic. It soon became apparent that they were disoriented, losing their bearings in the endless expanse of ocean below. The pilots struggled with radio communication, reporting that their compasses were malfunctioning and that they had no idea where they were. With rising anxiety, Taylor informed the flight that they needed to head east to return to Fort Lauderdale, but this only deepened their confusion, leading the squadron farther from their intended path. As night fell, the situation became dire. The last known transmission from Taylor indicated that they were running low on fuel and that the aircraft would need to ditch into the sea if they could not find their way back. Despite this distressing news, the flight was met with silence from the control tower. Desperate for assistance, Taylor's repeated calls went unanswered, echoing into the darkening void of the ocean. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the U.S. Navy launched a massive search and rescue operation. Hundreds of aircraft and ships scoured the waters for any signs of Flight 19. However, the search yielded no results. Over the next few days, hope began to fade as the search efforts revealed nothing but the vast, empty ocean. Adding to the mystery, on the evening of December 6th, a rescue plane, a Martin PBM Mariner, was sent to search for the missing flight. Tragically, this aircraft also vanished without a trace, further deepening the enigma surrounding Flight 19. The loss of 14 airmen and the subsequent disappearance of the rescue plane raised questions that have yet to be answered. In the aftermath, numerous theories emerged attempting to explain the mysterious disappearance of Flight 19. Some suggested navigational errors, while others pointed to the possibility of a fuel shortage leading to an emergency ditching. Theories of paranormal activity and even extraterrestrial involvement arose, fueled by the infamous reputation of the Bermuda Triangle as a region of unexplained phenomena. As decades passed, the legacy of Flight 19 has continued to captivate the public's imagination. Investigators, historians, and enthusiasts have combed through records, eyewitness accounts, and reports, but no conclusive evidence has ever surfaced to clarify what truly happened on that fateful day. The story of Flight 19 stands as a haunting reminder of the mysteries of the sea, the limits of human technology, and the countless stories lost to the waves. The fate of Flight 19 remains an unsolved riddle, drawing intrigue and speculation as new generations ponder the events of December 5, 1945. As the echoes of the lost airmen resonate through history, their story serves as a solemn tribute to the courage and vulnerability of those who took to the skies, forever searching for answers in the depths of the Bermuda Triangle. The lost flight, the mystery of Flight 19. On December 5, 1945, a routine training mission out of Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale spiraled into one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in aviation history. Flight 19, a squadron of 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers, set out over the Atlantic Ocean for a navigational exercise but vanished, igniting decades of speculation, myths, and conspiracy theories surrounding the Bermuda Triangle. The mission was part of a standard training program that hundreds of pilots had completed before, making the circumstances of Flight 19's disappearance even more perplexing. The crew was composed of 14 skilled airmen, many of whom were veterans of World War II. Flight 19 was led by Lieutenant Charles Carroll Taylor, an experienced pilot and flight instructor with over 2,500 hours of flight time. The weather was reported as favorable for flying, with clear skies and good visibility as the planes took off in the early afternoon. Yet, as they progressed into the second leg of their training run, what began as a routine exercise quickly morphed into a frantic struggle for survival and navigation. Within an hour and a half, the tower received increasingly panicked transmissions from Taylor, indicating that the flight's compasses were malfunctioning. Taylor's voice carried the strain of a man realizing the grave danger his squadron was in. "We can't tell where we are," he reported. "Everything looks wrong, even the ocean." The confusion seemed contagious. The other pilots grew increasingly unsure of their bearings, relying on Taylor's instructions even as they recognized he, too, was lost. As more distress calls came in, it became evident that the planes were hopelessly disoriented over a vast and empty expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. To make matters worse, the sun was setting and daylight was running out. The once tranquil skies were now veiled in twilight, and heavy clouds began to roll in, reducing visibility even further. Taylor attempted to guide his squadron westward, believing they were flying over the Gulf of Mexico and hoping to find the Florida coast. In reality, he was leading them farther out to sea. The desperate effort to regain control of their situation only seemed to magnify the squadron's plight. "We'll have to ditch unless landfall is made," came a final, ominous message from Taylor. Soon after, radio communication ceased and Flight 19 was swallowed by the darkness, leaving no trace. The loss of Flight 19 sent shockwaves through the Navy and the American public. The military scrambled to mount an unprecedented search and rescue mission. Ships and aircraft covered over 200,000 square miles of the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico in a coordinated effort to locate the lost planes. Yet, not a single piece of wreckage or any sign of the 14 men was ever found. The Navy conducted multiple operations over the following weeks, but their efforts yielded no results. The case was officially classified as cause unknown. An admission that did little to assuage the fears and theories that would emerge in the years to come. The enigma deepened when one of the search planes, a Martin PBM Mariner, also disappeared during the rescue operation, with 13 crew members on board. Witnesses reported seeing a bright flash in the sky shortly after the Mariner departed from its base, and it, too, was never recovered. The fact that 2 aircraft and 27 men could vanish without a trace in the same area, on the same night, solidified the legend of the Bermuda Triangle as a region of mysterious disappearances and baffling phenomena. Theories about what happened to Flight 19 abound. The most rational explanation involves navigational errors compounded by weather conditions. Lieutenant Taylor, despite his experience, had a history of getting lost during flight missions. It is suggested that he misinterpreted his position, leading the planes further out into the Atlantic until they ran out of fuel. Others believe there may have been equipment malfunctions, causing compass and communication failures that sealed the squadron's fate. But more fantastical theories have also emerged over the years, from extraterrestrial abductions to portals to other dimensions hidden within the Bermuda Triangle. The idea of an area where planes and ships inexplicably vanish has captured the imagination of the public, feeding into the Triangle's mythos. Some even attribute the loss to an underwater magnetic anomaly that could have scrambled the plane's instruments, making it impossible for the pilots to navigate accurately. Over the decades, wreckage searches have continued and interest in the case has persisted, with each new technology or discovery renewing hope that the Avenger bombers might one day be found. Underwater archaeologists and historians have mapped and scanned the seabed, but nothing conclusive has surfaced. The ocean's vastness and the relentless movement of currents mean that even after all these years, Lake Okeechobee or even deep-sea expeditions have yet to yield any definitive clues. The legacy of Flight 19 is not just about the mystery of their vanishing, but the human element of loss and courage. Families of the crew members have lived with the mystery for generations, haunted by unanswered questions about the fate of their loved ones. Memorials and ceremonies have been held to honor the bravery of these men, even as the true story remains locked in the past. Today, the tale of Flight 19 stands as a symbol of aviation's enduring mysteries, a sobering reminder of the power of nature and the limitations of even the most advanced technology. It is a story that calls to mind the fragility of human endeavors and the vast, unfathomable expanse of the oceans. The unanswered questions surrounding that day continue to intrigue and mystify, a puzzle that, for now, remains as elusive as the waves that swallowed Flight 19 whole.